Welcome. This is David Bowles, Human Meme. Today's topic, virtue signaling. Courage is the mother of all virtues because without it, you cannot consistently perform the others. Aristotle. Well, we all pretty much know what virtue means, virtually and ethically and aesthetically. But virtue today in our modern world, especially online, is the epitome of the ever-long internet ether of virtual living and longing. Yes, fake indicating. And virtue signaling becomes the new, most meaningless gesture wrapped in hatred. Virtue signaling requires no action, but always begs the negation. You cannot virtue signal without actual hatred. And here's why. Virtue signaling is a negative thing, not a positive one. Because people choose to stand against their own best interests by denying the interests of others, signaling their virtue by default without any fact, fancy, or evidence. And so the signaler stands up in a hateful way, a negative way, to win points with those who agree with the cruelty and who will defend their right to hate. Hate against virtue, and hate against the coveted dreams of the others. Yes, virtue signaling today is a thing, driven by popular headlines and the crinkles of modern culture, where you simply say good things and talk about the issues of the day, but you don't personally do anything about the issues you are raising, because that would be asking too much of your internal virtue meter. Now, sure, some may make an argument that all podcasts are a form of professional virtue signaling, talking about things without doing or inspiring any sort of action. And while I may agree to disagree with that perception, the argument can rightfully be made in some cases. Twitter and Facebook and Instagram are ripe and fertile grounds for virtual signaling from afar, because clicking a button in support of a text statement is so much easier than actually going out into the wilds of the urban core and standing up for what you believe in, by voting or volunteering or even protesting in the streets. Oh, and politicians love virtue signaling. They talk a great game, but rarely have the ability to make what they say become a reality. And so we all become covered in the virtuous lies and the promises and the threats of others in lieu of real and actual change that can make a difference in our lives. The George Floyd protests are a mark against the act of virtual signaling. We've had enough, because taking to the streets to protest systematic racism is, in fact, action and not virtuous flashing. A movement of people in a physical space is not virtual signaling, because blood and sweat and bones split on asphalt mean something far beyond simple rhetoric. And so, my human meme friend, beware of those who signal their goodness without direct evidentiary proof from a disinterested party, because you cannot trust goodness that is only spoken and not acted upon. So why do people virtue signal instead of just choosing to be virtuous? Well, the hard answer appears to be lodged in the notion that the self cannot be coerced into feeling the right thing and doing the right thing if the spirit is contaminated. Contamination happens when inaction is considered action, and when thinking is a synonym for being. And yes, I think, therefore I am, is right, all right, but not when it comes to living a cogent, active life. It is not ever really enough to just think, or to just write, or to just muse. We also have an implied and implicit moral duty to each other, to move our bones in space, and to impulse our blood to press us forward from the body, from thought, into action, making a difference that matters and makes a conscious community. We build bridges. We blaze trails. We hail the sky. We feed the nation. Those are the actions of a community that matters in the end. Without movement, we all die. Without thought, we merely lose our imagination. Now, problem solving is active imagination that is putting ideas to the flesh from paper, creating wishes and making them into dreams, dreams that come true, is a virtuous capturing of a moment of being together in this world. Because we know to think is to dream, is to do. At least that's what we tell ourselves. As we ramble on in a droning podcast, or a 256-character Twitter update, published, all of it, from the front stoop of our soapbox homes. It is not enough to simply signify, to indicate, to signal the merits of our intentions, because we can too easily be misunderstood, and our inaction becomes an action in itself, a self-perpetuating muse that mocks us and riddles us into oblivion by messing with our hearts and mussing up our thinking, when all we really have to do is leap from our perch, jump from the continent, race from the throng, to challenge the rest of the world into actually doing something about our problems. Get out. Get out today. Do something that makes a difference to someone other than you. Breathe fresh air. Lift your eye to the sky. Align your chin with the horizon. Inhale the depths of the earth. Drink in the galaxy. Let the universe call you into sublime submission of a job well done. Yes. Move forward. Make a difference. Find meaning in the act of the doing and not just the saying, the signaling, the false idol of a misbegotten few. We can and must be virtuous. It is a good, kind, and right trait to practice and to have. And Aristotle also teaches us that courage requires a virtuous heart, a real beating moment of impulse and valor, wrapped in a selfless act that benefits others without the guarantee of success or freedom to the soul. For the first person plural. Yes, courage. Courage will always save us from ourselves and from those who pretend to do the right thing by hating the wrong thing. Because it is courage that levels our souls and lifts us up to the higher, concrete, but balanced aspirations of a human being struggling to live a human life, confounded by the intricate indices of the human condition. Thank you for listening. Be a Human meme.